you have to detach yourself from your craft. If you don't detach yourself from your craft, you will die broke. It's just what it is. Like, because you know what you put in, you know what, like, no. And then when you compare yourself to what everybody else is offering, you're like, and guess what? The only people that know that you offer superior is your mates in the industry. The customers don't know. The consumers are not bothered.
Welcome to your episode on Takeawayz the podcast. It is truly awesome to have you as a guest on set today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You are most welcome. I've really been looking forward to this particular episode because your journey is one that did not just start a couple years ago. It's been one that has actually spanned the entirety of your existence as a person. And I'm sure there are so many, things that you have learned that you would share with us and would learn from today. But before we get into that journey, I would like you to give us some context as to the gentleman that haven't said to me today.
My name is Oluwafemi. I'm the creative director of Oluwafemi Clothing. I do fashion, but not like fashion design. I used to do fashion design, but I don't know work. So we just decided that, fashion entrepreneur. And that's how we got here. That's where we're at.
We are today.
Yeah.
So wait, you did say so. I like how we are starting something very, very interesting because people tend to believe that once you're in a space, automatically the business side of that space should be, natural to you. But you have differentiated between a fashion designer and a fashion entrepreneur. What does that mean to you?
For me, if I'm gonna be honest, so I think that fashion in Nigeria is quite complicated. Yep. So in the fashion space in Nigeria, the creative people don't really have money. And then the truth about fashion, just like art, is very subjective. So you could be one of the best fashion designers in your mind, and your audience thinks that you're crap. So fashion, the way I see it, like fashion design, the way I see it took me a while to accept the fact that, these people cannot relate to what I'm trying to give them. It doesn't make any sense. And it's not their fault, neither is it my fault. It's just the fact that, okay, you guys are communicating in different languages. For the better part of my life, when I started with clothes, I was trying to push a certain type of clothes to customers. They wanted a certain type. And then maybe like 4 years into it, I'm like, wait. Why am I swimming against social current? Just stop swimming. Let the ocean carry you. You will still not be on this spot. As against, but you don't come on one spot. And that was that. And I realized, okay, look, this is what my customers are buying. This is what they want. Just give them what they want, bro.
So basically, you went from being a designer for the sake of designing to being a fashion entrepreneur.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to design clothes, like design this, design that. But then again, if you're going to do that, you have to play at the very top end of the industry. You can't be mid-level, neither can you be a rock bottom. Because, okay, so let me put it like this. So if I spend 3 hours making a jacket, or I spent 3 months making a jacket, you could make a jacket in both time frames, yeah? Now, would it make sense for me to sell the jacket that I made for 3 months at the same price as the one I made? No, it doesn't make any sense, yeah? That's how it is. So when I look at it, I'm like, nah, man, people can't pay you for. So in my mind, I'm a genius. Like, I'm like, okay, look, when I see this guy, I think I know what he wants. This is what he needs, this is what he wants. But that's not what the guy wants.
You know what it wants. Your mind that you're a genius because looking at your business, your brand.
No, I think that one is just, but I think that's just accepting reality, which is what a lot of people don't do. Like, accept reality. Okay, this is what it is. If you want to do fashion like this, go to Milan, go to Paris, go to London. But if you want to do fashion here, this is what the people are buying. Can you give them what they are buying? If you're not giving them, get out of the way.
Okay, so I like how you hinted to the international space, but before we go international, let's dwell locally, right? Your journey into the fashion space as a fashion entrepreneur, and I'm going to continue for you as a fashion entrepreneur because a lot of people need to understand that in everything you do,
different. It's very different.
It's very different.
Very, very
It's
different.
always a business angle that a lot of people don't consider. Even if you are working, for example, in a 9 to 5, you're not an entrepreneur. You are still building your personal brand in the image of those in your office.
Yep.
You need to think like you are the boss of that seat you occupy beyond the job description that has been given to you. So you as a fashion entrepreneur, as a business person, how did your journey into fashion start?
Always loved fashion. Make I no lie. I've always loved fashion. And I think from a very young age, I knew I was going to work in the fashion industry from a very young age because when they buy me clothes back then, I was sure I want to change one thing or the other about the clothes. Like, okay, remove this button, change this button, and all of that. And then in my teenage years, I was always taking clothes to tailors to alter. And those tailors used to think I was mad. because to them, this is a perfect fitting shirt. Remove this corner, change this one. When it started getting frustrating, I learned how to sew myself. So I didn't have to need anybody anymore. I could do it by myself. And for the longest time, so before I went to university, I thought I was going to go to the London College of Fashion to go and study fashion properly. And then, so when I was in university, I was just passing time like, next month I'll travel, next month I'll travel. Next month became next time, next semester became next session. I'm not like play, I was in final year. So after LASU, I now decided, you know what?
Oh, you went to LASU?
Lagos State University. I studied philosophy. So I studied philosophy, and I was like, you know what? While I was waiting for NYC, I had a year. I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just go and properly study this thing. So I went to sign up at I was even in Labara State then. There was the biggest tailor around then, Alaji Jacob. I signed up as an apprentice under him, and those people thought I was mad. Like, this one, university graduates, one can learn tailoring. But I knew what I wanted, and then so staying with them, I realized that all of what I was doing was crap before, because there were patterns and techniques to doing these things. I was there for a bit, and the moment I knew that, okay, I'd learned everything to the best of my knowledge at that point. I brought it out on my own. I started going to Yaba markets, buy fabric, bring it back home, cut it, make clothes, and I would just make the clothes and wear them. They were crappily done because it wasn't the finish wasn't that great, but you could see the design, right? The finish wasn't that great. Anyway, so one day, one of my friends, I was in the car park in school that day. He saw one of the shirts I was wearing, and I was like, where'd you buy it? I'm like, no, I didn't buy it, I made it. I was like, what do you mean by you made it? I'm like, I made it. He said, give me the shirt, let me pay you 2.5. 2.5 then was like 25k now. I'm like, are you serious? Because in my mind, I'm like, the fabric cost maybe $600. And when he said how much, I just said 2.5 off the top of my head. And he counted 2.5. I took the money from him, took the shirt off my back. I was wearing a black singlet, entered Coastal Bus, went back to Yaba, bought more fabric, went back home, and they just kept buying it. I'm like, these people are mad, because I could see the crappiness of the clothes, but they were buying it. I just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And then one day I now realized that I didn't need to go back home for money anymore, because it's not like I had money, but I wasn't lacking either, and it was from selling the clothes. Just told myself, I'm not doing NYC again. Now I want to do this, and that was it. But
so out of curiosity, what year was that?
That should be like 20 years ago now. No, like 20 or 16, I'm not sure, but I know, wait, it might be 20, because I finished, my matric number is 98.
So how was that received though? Like, you finishing from uni and then transitioning into this. How was...
My mother thought I was mad, and everybody else thought I was stupid. Even me, I think I was stupid too when I look back at it, because it didn't have to be that hard, because it was hard. I mean, I could have gotten a job and my life would have been okay, but I think I'm very stubborn. And when they tell me not to do something, I won't die. Say, you mean I can't do it? I will show you. And that's just what it was. That's what it was. But when I think back, I don't think I would have done it again though.
So what would you have changed?
I probably would have put all of my time in going to London as against doing fashion here, because with the kind of effort that I think I put into it, should have much more, way much more. Because I know I'm not lazy, and I know that just give me the work, I'll do it. Just give me time, I'll do it. But I'm not complaining, because I don't want God to think I'm ungrateful. But I think that was the kind of effort that I put into it. You don't go far.
Well, would you say you are at least satisfied with where you are right now, or do you wish that you could have been somewhere else?
If you're satisfied with where you are in life, you stop growing. I think we could have been much more, and I also think that I'm grateful. I'm very grateful, but I also think that you can't grow beyond your economy. So regardless of how great or whatever you think it is that you think you carry, there's still that ceiling. Like, okay, bro, this is where it is. So, say for example, if you're trying to sell a 25 million naira car, there's a market for it. Yeah. If you're trying to sell a 250 million naira car, there's a market for it, but that market is smaller than that 25 million. So when I think about it, the purchasing power, when you travel abroad, that's when it becomes glaring to you. So Nigerians shop out of necessity. Like, I need it. People don't buy clothes until they need it. Okay, let me just say, a lot of people don't buy. Let me not generalize. A lot of people don't buy clothes until they need it. But if you travel abroad, these guys go for lunch and they buy socks, they buy ties. Like, the shopping is a culture. They don't buy things out of necessity. So the guy has a date this night, is buying a new shirt. The girl is buying a new dress because she wants to go out for a coffee date. Like, we don't have that on this side, and it's purchasing power. It's not anybody's fault, really.
I'll take something from what you said. You talked about the process that goes into creating and crafting clothes and fabrics that you make. You also give the example of how, for example, what you would spend 3 months creating, kind of like a Rolls Royce, and what you would spend 1, 2, 3 days
to make. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't want to mention any specific branch, but we know the cars that fall into the category.
Yep.
how would you describe that in terms of inspiring you to go the direction that you want your brand?
So I think it's not rocket science. Actually, it's not rocket science. If you look at life, so there's no way on the face of the earth you're going to tell me that if I spend maybe like 2 weeks, 3 weeks creating a garment, you expect to buy for the same price as something that I can run for you in 10 minutes. It doesn't make any sense. Because, and then, so I think I came to one point where you have to detach yourself from your craft. If you don't detach yourself from your craft, you will die broke. It's just what it is. Like, because you know what you put in, you know what, like, no. And then when you compare yourself to what everybody else is offering, you're like, and guess what? The only people that know that you offer superior is your mates in the industry. The customers don't know. The consumers are not bothered. They don't care. Their own is how much am I paying for it? How much is, okay, so say for example, you want to buy a wireless mic. Rode says 300 grand. What's the other brand says 200k. Then there's a 150k brand. And in all honesty, from your consumer standpoint, is would I hear sound? I don't understand. Like, that's what the consumer wants. Would I hear sound? But on the other hand, this brand, the topmost brand will tell you that, no, this one, we put this into it. And you have to detach yourself from your craft if you want to be great, because if not, you're going to be sentimental about every decision. And that's a problem. It's a very big problem.
So how did your journey now, because I know that these are things that have shaped your decision making and your, entrepreneurial vision for the brand. Going back to, 20-ish years ago, what was a lesson you learned from that allergy while you were with him that, has helped you get to where you are today?
Marketing and positioning is very important, and then the way you present yourself is very important. So say, for example, the way I see things now, I realize that upcoming brands or smaller brands always neglect marketing. Like, they always just see it as an expense. It's not an expense. It's very integral to the growth of the business. So if one guy on the side of the road was offering to sell you a pair of trousers, and you would walk into a store in Lekki One, all the lights, all the bang, 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 you don't expect to pay the same amount of money for what you're buying from this guy and what you're buying in the store.
Yeah.
But they might essentially be the same thing. Like, in fact, it could be that guy that made the one in that store. But you're not going to pay him what the store is asking, because he doesn't have the razzmatazz of the store. He's just one guy on the street. You feel like you're doing him a favor, in fact, if you're buying from him, right? But this one other guy on the other side just woke up one day and said, okay, I want to sell clothes. I don't need to know how to make clothes. This is the environment I want it to, this is how I want it to look. Like, he sets that up. You on the other side, you are grinding it out every day, you're cutting the throat, you're sewing it. Your customer are not broke, and the AC no day here now. You'd have to see things, and then you'd have to see things from the customer standpoint before you can understand them. Like, when you put yourself in the shoes of the customer, you can't ask me to pay what this guy is paying, because look at the shop now, look at him. That's how people see things. Even us, that's how we see things. You want me to pay this for this? Look, it's just what it is. Spend a lot of money on your brand. Spend a lot of money on yourself. Spend a lot of money on knowledge, knowing your craft. Like, mastery of your craft is very important. But guess what? You can be the master of your craft and only you know, which is very dangerous. Spend a lot of money on mastering your craft and let the world know.
Okay, so now, when you talk about spending money on mastering your craft, there are a lot of people now listening to this or watching this right now, and they're looking at it like, okay, even in the fashion space, you started this journey like over 2 decades ago, or let's say around 2 decades ago. You also talked about how the economy has literally transformed.
Oh, definitely.
Into something that is affecting everybody level. How would you advise a young person, or not so young person, because we always tend to think of young people. There are also young people who want to embark on the journey you're embarking on. What are alternatives to enriching myself with knowledge that don't require me to spend the money I don't have?
But you guys live in an era where knowledge is free now. There's nothing you can learn on YouTube. There's absolutely nothing you can learn online anymore. Back when I started, you had to pay for all these things. You had to pay for knowledge. There was no, like, right now you can start a brand in your house now. You sit down with a phone, somebody that knows how to do good graphics, and you don't even have to have a product. Now, when I started, you have to have the product. Now you don't even have to have the product. All you can just do is what they call it, drop shipping, or whatever it is called. Like, so, and the truth about life is that it has never been easier to start a business, a brand, than now. There's never been easier, because half of the things that people paid for in the past, they come free now. And then social media has leveled the playing ground. Big brand, small brand, everybody enters at the same level. Everybody enters at the same level. So you have access to audience that back then, all the customers that bought clothes from me, they had to be a face-to-face interaction. Like I had to meet them. People buy clothes now. They sit down here. They're buying something from somebody in Abuja. Zero interaction. Everything is done on DM. Said to me, said, oh, this is size. Okay, pam. You don't even have to physically have the product in your store for the person to buy it. You could take the person's money, then go to the market, buy it, and sell it. Opportunities to leverage now. And I think that young people, also having a lot of options is a problem. But I think a lot of young people in this era are not taking advantage of all of what is before them. All of what is before them. Because it's easier now, bro. It's easier. It's way easier now. There are so many people that bought stuff from online that when they came to deliver or when I went to pick it up, I was like, nice one. If you know the game is the game.
So what lessons have you learned from that game that you can, say as still helping you on
Be ahead of the curve, always be ahead of the curve, one. And so 4 years ago, I did a course at the London College of Fashion. And I can never forgive myself till this day because the lecturer kept saying that photos are dead. Like, I paid like £900 for this course. So she kept saying that, okay, fashion designers, fashion business owners, this is the time to understand that photos are dead. Video is the future. You'd have to start making videos, talking about your product. I was looking at her like, does this one know what she's saying? Because at that point, I just bought one new Canon camera to be taking pictures. I wanted bright, sharp pictures, right? And she was telling me that video is the future. No, sorry, that was like 6 years ago. She was saying video is the future. I'm like, video is the future. She's not lying. And guess what? If you had a head start 6 years ago, you'll be ahead of the curve now. So, and then I think, and guess what? Everything about that course is available as free resource online.
It really is. I'm glad you mentioned YouTube because one thing I can confidently say is, when I asked that question, it was intentional because me, for example, I don't like to use myself as an example all the time, but me, for example, I spend hours on YouTube. If YouTube could give statistics for how many hours I spend on the platform, because and the beauty with technology is these days, the algorithm actually helps you. So we were having the conversation on, a previous set, and we talked about the content you consume and how it affects who you become as a person. So for example, if you are a fashion designer or whatever field you are listening to this right now, you can take this as a challenge. For the next 4 days, consistently search on YouTube items and videos that relate to your field. The algorithm will reward you from there on out with constant content that can help you become the best version of yourself. Learn content that you didn't even think to go for, you would find. So I agree with you. It is easier now than ever to gain knowledge and insights. And now, coming out to that knowledge aspect and knowledge base, what would you say has been, something that you would always at any opportunity want to share when it comes to, your journey in the fashion space, whether as an entrepreneur or as a person?
I think it's just, for me, always never give up. Consistency pays. Never ever give up, one. And then you see that YouTube that you mentioned there. I think that's the biggest university in the world, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on it. I learned how to shoot videos from YouTube. I learned how to edit videos from YouTube. And there was one time I wanted to hire someone to shoot something for me. And I was like, bro, this guy will do this one for you. Give me that guy number. I did it. People still ask me all the time, like, who edits your videos? I'm like, I do. Everything that I know about that, I learned it. And it's not where we go. Maybe max, maybe 2 or 3 days. I don't know how it is that people go to the same YouTube and they're watching something else. I can't, because you can learn how to sew clothes. You can learn how to fly a plane. It's unbelievable how much free resources are available. And I'm like, people don't take advantage of these things though. I think a lot of people just like ready-made things like, okay, just give me the key, let it be moving. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to build it.
So now when it comes to building, let's go to the brand, Oluwafemi, the brand, not just a person. So how did your, brand building process come about?
So I think that for me was also admission of, and I think that's also one of the things that a lot of people don't like doing, admitting that, okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I went in the wrong direction. I think we need to recalibrate and redirect. For somebody that owns a fashion business, for the better part of my life, I didn't want to be seen. I just wanted the clothes to be sold. I wanted customers to just buy them. And if you go down my Instagram page, the business page, if you go down that page, maybe like 3 years, the only thing you see there is just product. There's no human interaction. And one day somebody said something, and the person wanted to buy stuff, and I was like, okay, They said, I'm not doing pay on delivery. I mean, I don't know your page. I'm just running into your page for the first time. I'm like, yeah, but we have 3 stores. And at that time, we have 3 stores. I'm like, we have 3 retail locations. Says, well, I don't know that one. All I know is the page. So after that conversation, I was driving home and I was not like, I mean, because I know the kind of effort that I put in. I'm like, how did that not convert? Because I would have thought that my page, once you just go there, you know that this one is legit business. But obviously, this guy was seeing it from a different light. So the next morning when I woke up, I picked up my phone and I looked at that page from the point of view of a customer. I want to bought from me. It's just like one guy that just constantly posting sneakers, this, like, okay, where are you? Who are you? If my money lost, who I want? Who can I even post? I say, this guy don't scam me. Do you understand? And then when I look at that, I'm like, bro, and I'd gone, well, like maybe 6 years in at that point, going in one direction. I'm like, okay, so how do you turn this around? And then I now realize that, you know what, whether you want to accept it or not, there's a brand. There has to be a human face. There has to be a face that, oh, okay, that's that girl. Because I now also realize that there are some girls that when I see them online, I'm like, this is that girl, this is that girl. If they are easily recognizable, why are you not doing that for yourself? So I said, okay, let me hire someone that will do that. And when I gave the guy the brief, I was like, every day, no, bro, you know, if you work now, I get a job. And then I said, okay, you know what, Mr. Oluwafemi, I said I will go do this thing by ourselves. So I had to break away from myself and say, bro, this is the direction that you need to go in. You can't see the end from the beginning, yeah? But until you start, you will never know. We started on it, and I remember the first couple of videos that I posted that had my face on it. I was every day I had to go check the likes. So they don't like, problem. I shouldn't have gone like this. But on the DM side, they will send you that video, I want. But the guy did not like the video, he didn't like the picture. And I realized that I'm looking at the wrong metrics. Are they buying? What's your own goal? And then brand building also, I think the part of it that I've come to realize is the fact that it's dynamic, it's not static, it's not a day's job, you can't. So there's no finish line. You can't say, okay, ahead. Well, I've done all the work that we need to do now. We're not a record, not, because there's one kid that can wake up tomorrow that has one of the fancy new cameras and he knows his way around this or that. People in the era we live in now, it's so easy to get perceived in the same realm, in the sense that the startup brand can actually knock you that have been 20 years in the game with half the resources that you have. And that's one thing a lot of big brands need to understand, that the people coming behind you are dangerous, because they produce the result you are producing with less resources, almost effortlessly. So where we are right now, if you are going to produce the quality of what this will look like at the end, before, budgets would have been in the realm of millions. And I'm not saying tens of millions, like double-digit tens. That's the world we live in today. We are now producing quality that even TV stations cannot produce with
all their equipment, bro.
Budgets. It is what it is.
I agree. So you see, young people should take advantage of it. But it's as we are, for lack of a better word, blind to that reality, to the obvious truth that we actually have resources and tools that can make everything we dream about reality. But now, coming to your dreams versus your reality, did you at any point ever think you would have 3 stores, even one in Ikoyi?
So in my mind, I think I'm late though, because in my mind, it's still going to be at 200 before I can say, okay, I don't try. So when I started out, I was making clothes. I wanted to design clothes and sell them. And I realized that wasn't really working like that. It wasn't working because the effort I was putting in and the result I was getting were not the same. Like a point, we now redirected that, okay, let's do what the clients want. Yeah. And then I now looked at businesses abroad. All the bespoke businesses, all the bespoke stores, people that make clothes directly for customers, they are just one location. Because in the real sense of the world, if I'm going to make a kaftan in a store with a brand, I most probably have a relationship with the owner, or I want to have a relationship with the owner, or basically I just want to be affiliated with that brand. Yeah. You can't replicate that easily. So let's assume that XYZ fashion brand now is in Lekki one. Well, it's fantastic. So you go there, they take your measurement, they make clothes for you. When they open the VI store, the creative director or the designer has to be shuttling both stores. Because if I go to the VI store and I don't see you all the time, it doesn't work like that. But I now realize that there were all these other British shirt making brands that on one street you can see like 5 stores. There are some of them you see 20, 30 stores in one location. I'm like, how did these guys doing it? And then I realized that they had detached themselves from that, having to create individual bespoke experience for customers. Like, okay, look, We're just selling retail stuff. You come in, you buy your basic shirt, your basic pants, your basic shoes. And if that's what you're doing, you can't just be opening the store like pam, 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 pam. Because really, what are you selling? It's just clothes now. And that was what I now said, okay, you know what? This is what we're going to mirror ourselves as. Let's follow this path. Once you do that for like 2 years, you see that, bro, once you get the reading going, it's easy to open another location. It's just, at that point, it's just money. Because, so say for example, now if I have a store in Lekki one, I'm selling sneakers and this and that. I'm not really that tied down to the brand. If you come in, you buy, you go. You come in, you buy, you go. You come in, you buy, you go. If I open the same thing on the mainland, you would still do the same come in, you buy, you go. I can open this in Port Harcourt. I can open it in Abuja. Like, do you understand? Like, it's very easy to replicate that. It's very, very easy. As against a brand that, okay, look, we design bespoke experiences for you.
Well, you know, when it comes to what you just said now, having the store is one thing. Having the people that work in the store is a different thing. And, you know, people can make or break that in-store experience, whether bespoke or non-bespoke. And then let me, you know, just tell you this here. I'm actually wearing Oluwafemi right now. I am, because I
wasn't looking at that too. Surprisingly. Thank you very much. Thank you. And we didn't give him.
It was after we had our conversation interaction, because I saw what you were doing on your Instagram page. And I was like, you know what? Why not give it a shot? I went to the Okwebi store. I can't remember the person who was there. I remember her name.
Everybody that works in Okwebi is female.
Female.
Yeah, 3 of them there, yeah.
Female, yes. And they were very, very important. It was a wonderful shopping experience.
So the thing that most people, this is where most people get it wrong. You, the business owner, you set the tone for your business. When your salespeople are rude to your customers, it's because they've seen you being rude either to a customer or you've been rude after a customer had left. So when customers call me on the phone, I've gone to stores where I went to buy something. I still do it till this day. I'll just walk into a random store and see what the customer experience is like. Now, your employees will never go above you. Just take it like that. They will never go above the standard that you set. So if a customer walks into the store and I'm packing his order, I'm packing it by myself, you know that if I'm not there, you have to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again to everybody that I employ. When it comes to the power I have to train them, a 5K customer is just as important as a 500K customer. The moment you understand that there's no difference between how much the person is paying, because them choosing to spend their money with you, first of all, is a privilege. They have options. And I also realized that, first off, I think people don't really train their employees. They just employ people and throw them in the ocean and expect them to learn how to swim. That's very wrong. You need to train them, number one. Then you need to train them in your vision. They won't buy into the vision, don't get it wrong. But let them just know that, okay, this is what our guy is trying to build. So when I buy stuff abroad, if you buy stuff in one shop in, say, Boston, and I don't like it, I can return it in New York. Nobody does that here. And it didn't make sense to me back then that this guy bought this shirt in another state. And then you just find out that, okay, I don't like this shirt, you can return it in another state. And I'm like, wait, boys, if it's your own brand, if it's an item that you guys make, if somebody buys it in VI and he gets to Ikeja and says that, oh, maybe I should have taken the pink stripe, and it walks into, does he have to come all the way to VI to change it? It doesn't make any sense. Do you understand? And a couple of times when you first employ them, when the customer says they want to do a return, they say, let me talk to my boss. I'm like, you don't need to talk to me. The item the customer is returning is our own. We know that the quality is good. If he doesn't like it, somebody else will like it. Give him another one. The business owner sets the tone for the employees. I think all business owners subconsciously or consciously train their employees to either be the best they can be or the worst they can be. Because these people mirror you. They always mirror you. It's not just giving them employee sales manual, no. They need to see you do it because that's the only way they learn. And you can't be teaching them, you need to be nice to customers when you are rude to customers. No, they won't.
It's always funny when you see like businesses have staff training, employee training, and then you bring somebody from outside to show.
So for me, I always, I don't know how people do that thing. Like, okay, we're going to get someone to come and train our employees. Does the person sell clothes? Because that's how I say, like, okay, so my warehouse manager today started with us as office assistant. She was like an errand girl, clean there. Today she's managing the warehouse. And at the point where we're going to set up a warehouse and then we needed the manager, I was like, okay, now we need to go and get somebody that has a university degree. But now it took me a while to realize that, wait. Are we getting somebody that has a title or somebody that can actually do the work? And this girl rose through the ranks. Like, she started as this, office assistant. And the first 2 or 3 months that she was working in that store, she the sales rep on the shop floor there, she was constantly just outshining the guy. Like, so she was she was an office assistant, but when she saw that a sale was going south, she would just jump in. At first, I was like, okay, so people are buying clothes from this girl because again, right? So I took her, I plucked her from that store and put her in the biggest one, Okbari. Reach 1 month. She outpaced everybody there. It got to the point where if I feel like a store is not doing very well, just send her there. Just send her there. And she goes the extra mile. But it took me a while to realize that it was because she started out in the store where my office was. So she was seeing me every day. She was seeing how I attended customers. And then I now realized that, bro, they set the pace. And you can't expect them to run faster than you now. What are people that come to you for salary? Like, it's not like they love your dream or they love your passion. Or let's never get it twisted. They come because they need a job, right? You offer that. And you think that they're going to put in more than you will. Nobody should ever work harder than you in your business. People don't like to hear that part though. But that's just what it is. And you never get to any point where you get to throw in the gloves and say, yes, I've arrived, I don't tire. Steve Jobs, till the day he died, he was still working. He was still working. It is what it is. He was still working. It is what it is. And there just has to be somebody there that everybody else is mirroring. Yeah. Because if not, when I was a fashion designer, I was designing clothes around myself, the things that I liked. But if you're a fashion entrepreneur, you understand that the end goal is to sell the product, right? And if you're not selling the product, it means that you're failing. It's just what it is. So first off, you need to look at the customer. What do the customer want? So we just did a new collection now. And this is the first time ever. I mean, I've been doing business like 20 years. This is the first collection that we're putting out that is backed by data. Like, there's no what I like, there's no what my team likes, this is what the customers are asking for, this is what they like, this is what they like, this is what they like. You can't build, so you don't build a car, then you can if you are crazy, but if you are not crazy, you don't build a car and then look for someone to buy it. You look for a need as regards to a car, and you build a car around that need. It's really just that simple. Because what do they want? They want premium quality. They don't want to pay cutthroat price. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Do it. Give them. It's very simple. Yep. And then also understand that I think that's where we differ from every other brand though, because most people, when they make clothes, they're done with European sizing. Our sizes are African sizing. My factories fight with me all the time. You can't put this neck on this body. Are you African? I know my people. I know what their sizes are like. And once you get that right, everything works.
2 decades ago versus now, how would you compare the amount of clothes you churn out yearly?
So first off, presently we don't make clothes in Nigeria anymore. 2 decades ago, every single item that had that Oluwafemi label on it, I either made it or Waid made it. Like, yeah. So at some point, I realized that, okay, I was paying the tailors way too much. So if I was doing it by myself, because then I was living in the Bayer State, I would come to Lagos Island to buy fabric. Then I either take it back home to sew myself or find tailors around that Lagos Island. But the way Lagos Island is structured, free game. That Central Bank, right? Right behind it, there's a street called Takeawayz Street. That entire street filled with fabric dealers, like from the beginning to the very end, filled with fabric dealers. Right off of that street, this is Takeawayz Street, then this is John Street, then this is Takeawayz Street. Right off of that street is John Street, filled with tailors. You can start a fashion business with 10K. Now, back then, you could start it with 2.5. Buy fabric, go to the tailor, give him, he'll sew it, and you can go and sell it. Yeah. And when I started, and I realized that it's one thing to have a dream, it's another thing to actually bring it to light. So you buy the fabric, you give it to the tailors for them to make it. The tailors in Lagos Island. And then the guy says, come back in 1 week. Then you go 1 week to pick up the item. That's when the guy is just cutting it. I think it's driving me mad. And it was losing me customers because you'd already have told the customer that, oh, you'll be ready on Wednesday. Wednesday, the cloth never ready. You go there, the tailor is saying, my wife died, my children did, one issue or the other. And then I realized that while I was trying to build the sale part where, okay, you know what, we just need to be selling these things, we had a production problem. Okay, so if one guy walks into you, if you wake up in the morning and then you go to one office, because we're selling from offices there, you go to one office and one guy orders 10 shirts, yeah? When I'm leaving the office, I'm happy, but I'm sad. I'm happy because I just sold 10 shirts. That's a lot of money. But I'm sad because I need to find tailors that will make this 10 shirts. That was a problem. So at some point, we set up our own production in the house in Ibadan State. We set up our own production. It was fantastic. Solved the problem for a while. But the bigger the order got, bigger the problem. And then I now realized that, bro, this is your global vision, because I believe that before I die, I'll have an international brand. I'll have a brand that is sold in other countries outside of Nigeria. This is your global aspirations. Cannot do it locally. And then when I ran the numbers, I was like, okay, you know what? The only way for us to stay in business profitably, because we have a price point that is, I'd almost call it ridiculous, because a lot of times, sometimes I feel like we're just dashing customers the clothes. And this is me being honest. I feel like we're just dashing customers the clothes. But then again, when you see that brings a lot of repeat business, our marketing budget is not as high as other people, because if you bought something from us before, I go out before you go buy another. If you need exactly that same thing, you go out before you go another place, go buy it. Because you know, first of all, you either cost 2 times what we sold it to you for, or it's probably not even as good. So, long story short, I told myself, Mr. Man, production should not be a problem. Selling is hard enough. Selling, convincing somebody to part with their money for an item that you want to give them is already hard enough. You should now not have a problem producing that. So I'm like, you know what? Let's outsource this problem to somebody else. And that's what we did. Just, can you guys make this thing like this, like this? Yes, this is how much it costs. Thank you. Have a nice day. Focus on selling. Because it's hard. I mean, if I still have the factory in Nigeria, I'll be in the factory now. I can't be here. And that's the reality.
Sure. So when it comes to I know and this is something that I learned from, watching your content on your page. You do say that the fabric and the materials you use to make Oluwafemi clothing are some of the finest when it comes to standard.
So for me, that's where you said it yourself that when you watch the shirt, you're like, oh wow, that's because the shirt is 100% cotton, the weight of the fabric. So it took me a while to get here. A while in the sense that when we started out, when we're buying clothes in Lagos Island, when we're buying fabric in Lagos Island, you can go to the market on Monday and see fantastic fabric. You can go on Tuesday and there's nothing that's fantastic. You go and there might be a drought for 2 months. And then you come back maybe 3 months later and the place is filled with fantastic. I'm like, shouldn't there be a way where I can always get exactly what I wanted? Even when I started making clothes abroad, I still experienced the same problem. Because we have only 2 seasons. If it's not raining, sun is shining in Nigeria. They have 4 seasons. They have springs, autumn, winter, summer. So if you go into the stores to buy fabric in summer, if you're buying fabric in summer, it's lighter. If you're buying in winter, it's heavier. I was like, now this thing I run from Lagos now. Why follow me come here? Then I now realized that, okay, I spoke to one guy once that, can't I get, and then he told me I'm looking for, what did he say? I'm looking for coin in the ocean. Yes, that's what he said. He said, you're looking for a coin in the ocean. I'm like, what does that mean? He was like, I'm looking for summer fabrics in winter. And I was like, I don't understand. He says, if you want that, then you have to make it. I'm like, make it? Oh, we can do that. We can make it. And then we had a conversation. Oh, yes, but you have to buy a certain bundle. I'm like, it's not bad now. Let's do it. And that automatically solved that problem. So I'm not bound by their seasons. This is what I want. This is what I wanted. And when you're making your own fabric, you realize that the possibilities are endless. Possibilities are endless. And in all honesty, I'm not trying to knock anybody's also, but people are greedy in this world and in this country. People are very greedy. The difference between 100% cotton and 60% cotton and 40% polyester, bro, is under $1. Like, it's under $1. How much is a dollar? Today is 1,600, yeah? Yes. So the difference between a shirt being premium quality and some mago day inside is 1,600. I'm charging the person upwards of 25,000. How much is 1.6? That's how I see it, like, bro. But people try to cut corners a lot, and if you focus on the money, you won't make it. That's the funniest part of business. If you are focused on the money that, oh, we must make money, you're never going to make money. Deliver value, money will follow. Just give them value, money will follow. Standard. It's just what it is.
And I know that that is something that I've also learned over time, because starting my journey, a lot of what I have done that led me up to the point where I have things that I'm doing now was free work, was offering value.
Please increase the volume. Say no.
Free work.
Say it. John, one more time.
Free work.
Please spell it.
FREEWORK.
when you are starting out, you are trying to build a portfolio. It is not the time to make money. So one guy, one time, like about a month ago, he sent me a message on Instagram and he was like, bro, I like this thing that you do, blah, blah, blah. Can I come and learn? I want to learn. Can I come and help you undo the camera? I'm like, first off, I don't know you from that. You just send me a DM, but I'll now take you into my space. So I was like, no, let's do stuff outside that, no wala. So I gave him the camera, I gave him the gimbal, it was only both of them. And I was like 5 or 7 steps away from me. All the while I was thinking, oh, this guy will run my camera. But then again, the camera heavy, so you know if you run fast. You know if you run fast. So, but guess what? When we were done, and he shot fantastic videos, fantastic stills. And when we were done, I was like, okay, so what's your account number? I was like, no, I'm not doing it for the money. I said, I get that part, but how was your account number? I was like, no, I don't want money. The experience is just doing this way. I'm like, okay, fine. I just want to bless you. Oh, you know, give me. I had to keep begging. Then I was like, whenever you want to shoot anything, just call me. At that point, I had to tell him that, bro, I'm not comfortable with you working for free. And he said something that I didn't think about it like that. He said, but I get to use equipment that I cannot afford. And when he said that, I was like, a youngin thinking like this. Because guess what? Up until that point, I thought I was the only one benefiting from that arrangement of, okay, let me just help you with the camera. I'm like, but he said, but I get to use equipment that I cannot afford. And now I know I'm practicing with them. When the time comes, dexterity sets in, I'm like, whoa, free work. So when we started out making clothes, it was me and my girlfriend. We're married now. And I used to tell her back then that if you focus on money, one of the things I don't know where I even picked that up, but if you focus on money, you're not going to make money. But you see, relationships are more important than money. The things relationships will give you, money cannot give you. The doors relationships will open. So the guy that taught me how to take pictures, the guy that taught me photography, Sheyi Chow George SSG, is not in Nigeria anymore. He was working for someone in a studio, and I used to just hang around because I loved pictures. I was like, oh, this is f-stop, this is aperture, this one. It basically taught me for free. So when I take pictures back then, when I take them and edit them, they'll be like, these pictures look like. See, before I left Nigeria, I was a big time photographer. And people will look at it and be like, these pictures are like Sheyi's job. I'm like, yeah, it's one that taught me. But I didn't understand. So he would want to buy clothes from me back then. Shirts were 2.5. I was saying, no, don't pay 2.5, just pay 1.5, which is what the cost of the fabric was. And he was always worried that, this guy, how you want to make money? I'm like, no, I'm learning something from you. But it was me selling clothes to him at cost price that gave him enough balls. Okay, let me even teach you this thing, make I give you something back in return. People need to understand that you can't build a portfolio with paid work, especially when you're on the come up. You can't build a portfolio with paid work. How many paid work are you going to get? Let's be honest. How many paid work are you? Okay, so when they ask you, okay, I want to see what you do, and show me what you have done, you have nothing to show. Free work, it opens doors. Bro, it opens doors, man. A lot of doors, by the way, Seth.
It does. And you know what's crazy is, I know if we decide to go on and on, there are multiple things you can share, multiple things you can, open our minds to. So when it comes to, your people, right? Because people are very integral in the journey of everybody. Who is one person that has really stood by your side?
That's my wife, man. Without her, I will not be anywhere. I swear down, it's my wife. Because without her, nothing. And I didn't even know what she saw in me, God said. I think she's a gambler. I swear, because when we started, I was driving a car to go and sell clothes. How are you dating somebody that does that? In this era, you be gay, you get car. You date boy, you don't get car. And they use your car, go sell clothes. Come on now. I was thinking about it one day. I'm like, this guy a gambler. Because in all honesty, what I was back then is what they call the red flag today. In all honesty, what I was to her back then is this guy in a red flag. Parents were fairly comfortable. She was alright. You met one boy in university, guys. It's the only thing he has is swag. Get that. I'm not me now. The only thing he has is swag, and then it's a video fine boy. Iron your shirts, make sure that slim them so you don't. Okay, so I used to buy clothes. I used to buy fairly used clothes. I wash them, soak them for like 3 days to get that fairly used smell out of it first. No, then after that, now spray all those downtown perfume. I learned how to mix perfumes from that. Okay, when you mix this one with this one with this one, it might not be as strong, but it smell well. You understand? And when they use those swag, you use it to carry women, and then she's like, she sees all these things that, this guy no get. But I think for her, it was just like, okay, this one has a dream. Maybe the dream go work, maybe it no go work. I wouldn't have dated me. I'm very honest. If I'm in her shoes, I won't have, because it was a gamble. If you know what, it was even worse when we finished school. One day, our mom called me, and that was one of those days. I think that was the day I realized that, bro, this thing was work. So our daughter went to do, when it was time for NYC, I was supposed to go first. I said I wasn't doing NYC, that I'm chasing my dream. She didn't care. Our daughter went to do NYC, and she sat me down one day in her house. I went to pick her car because I was going to see a customer. Get no day around, though. I was going to see a customer. And she sat me down and said, so what are your plans for the future? I'm like, I'll do this fashion thing, I'll blow. And she was like, when my daughter comes back from NYC, she's going to do masters in London. So how's that? What are your plans? Are you going to do masters as well? Masters. You see me, I'm selling to 5 shit now. I try to embarrass me. Like, I was like, well, it is what it is. So I need to start thinking. And when I stepped out of the house that day, I took the car here, I was driving. I told myself the honest truth, because which is why a lot of people don't do that. This one doesn't see me as anything. And in all honesty, I was nothing. If I'm going to be honest, I'm like, okay, so my daughter's boyfriend came to borrow a car to go and see a customer. My daughter is 7. And this guy that wants to marry my daughter, come on. Even now, so I put myself in that shoes. I'm like, nah, it's not working, bro. It's not working. And I told myself, okay, you know what? Because I know that it's also very easy to give up. And I said, okay, you know what? That I said, I'm not even doing it. I have to focus on this thing and it must work. And that was one of the reasons why it was easy for me to let go of the design part. That, okay, if this is not working, cut it out. Like, this fashion thing must work. One way or the other. If I'm not designing clothes, I will design shoes. But I know I want to play in the fashion field, but I need to be successful in this fashion field. Because everybody else, they're just looking at you like, what's this dude doing, man? The dream is in your head. They can't see it. Yeah. So when people say things like, this guy, you're really lucky, you have time, I'm like, this is not even a fraction of what is in my head. When we had 4 stores and we had to close one down because the building was sold, it was like I lost a child. That's how, because I know how hard. I mean, nobody's funding me. It's all these 25 here and there, mix it together, remove this one, add that one. That's how we've been able to grow it to this point. And I'm like, we have to close down a store? I'm like asking for my kidney. But, bro, it is what it is. One of my lecturers in last would say, the degree to which you would grow in life as a human. And that thing hit me one day, maybe 6 years ago. I might used to say it back then, it sounded like rubbish. The degree with which you would grow is directly proportionate to the level of truth that you can tell yourself without running away. So it was plenty English back then. That was this one saying. It was when I had to tell myself that this thing is not working. Remove it. Because a lot of times we run away. It's easy to run away from things like, this is stressing me, I cannot come and kill myself. No, you have to kill yourself. If you have to kill yourself, come to that point where you realize that, please, I need to die. Bro, it is what it is, man. Tell yourself the truth all the time. All the time. A lot of times, the road we think will take us to, the road we think will take to where we're going, not necessarily not. It's just a road you use to exercise your muscles for you to switch to the other lane.
And I love the fact that in everything you have said, stated, mentioned, there's always a takeaway from it. There's always a lesson to be learned. I'm really glad we got you on set, honestly. It has been a wonderful and amazing conversation.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you.
Everybody has enjoyed listening or watching this episode of Takeawayz podcast. What would you, before we get into that, Oluwafemi clothing doesn't just make shirts. What else?
Shirt, suit, pants, basically workwear. Because I realized very early, and my customers are not the band I want deco. There are people that work in the office, they wear tie, they wear suits, black, gray, blue. And I was trying to fling them one shirt with 7 pockets because it was a cool, one orange shirt with 7 pockets because it was a cool design. And it really was a cool design. But the guy in front of you does not need one yellow shirt with 7 pockets. He needs a white shirt and a blue tie so that I can sit down in front of his customer tomorrow and thank you for banking with us. No, but I think that was the turning point in my life. Realizing that I'm singing reggae and these people they want to hear blues. What? It was a turning point. I realized that you being in the store sometimes opens your eyes to what you would not necessarily have seen if you were not there, because it's not just about the money, it's about what are the customers asking for. Recently, when we opened the VI store, by being there almost all the time, I realized that in 1 week, 5 different guys can come in and say, do you have a black shirt? Do you have a black shirt? I never thought the black shirt was a great thing like that. But immediately, in 1 week, 3 people asked for it and we no get. let's make a black shirt. This is what it is. The customers, I mean, I'm not going to wear the clothes now. I don't go wear out. How many can I wear? Listen to the customers. That's just it. It's very simple.
Those are valuable insights that you have shared, and I'm really, like I said, I'm busting at the seams. Let's taking it from you.
No, thank you.
So I'm speaking to you on this episode of Takeawayz podcast. We are looking forward to the amazing things you have, lined up for the rest of the year, and I mean years to come.
Well, welcome. I will get there. In fact, we will replay this podcast as one of our store openings outside Nigeria. I told you that it will happen because people like to doubt. And I told you it will happen because everything, this podcast was a dream. There was one point that not only you understand and nobody else like, okay, so you want to do a podcast. I didn't know podcast already. Everything started in somebody's mind and then they brought it to life and bring your own to life. That's just life. Just bring it to life. And there's nothing to be afraid of. You will fail. Let me just tell you, you will fail. You will fail. Be ready to deal with it. You will fail. You get it right. You will fail. You get it right. And you still fail even when you are big. But guess what? Never stop. Never stop. Never stop.
Well, that's really also speaking to you. I really would love us to go on and on because questions with you actually is so natural and so seamless.
It's because I don't like to swear my own head, even though I like to swear my own head at the same time. But I think one of my greatest, I think that the only thing you can give people in life is actually encouragement. You can't give them money. You can give them money, but it doesn't stay. They can spend it, right? And there's nothing better in this world than when you are deep down in the trenches, and which is one of those things that I never had, and it pains me till this day. When I was at rock bottom, when I was trying to build a fashion business, everybody that was up there that you try to talk to, they don't even want to associate with you. Like what? So which is why when people come to me now and say, I want you to be my mentor, I'm like, I can't be anybody's mentor. That can't be anybody's mentor. If you follow my social media, my personal social media, and which is one of the things that I learned in life, when you watch people, you will learn things. When you watch people, just watch them. Human beings repeat patterns, they repeat. If you watch people consistently, you will learn everything you need to learn from them. You can't hide. You can't disguise your character for 1 week, but you need to do it for 1 month, right? When you watch people, you learn more than you can ever learn in life. And the things you can give to humans, for me, the greatest gift you can give to people is the gift of encouragement. Like, okay, look, because I know that if I had people that I could talk to back then, that okay, how can I do this? How do I do this? I'll be further down the road. But back then, everybody holds knowledge. They are gatekeepers, and gatekeeping solves nobody's problem. We can all grow. We can all be big global brands. How many global brands are in the UK? How many are in the US? Can all be big global brands, and everybody will be fine. And the best thing you can give to human beings in this world is encouragement, because you don't know what the person is going through. Let me end it. There was one day that I went to see a customer.
Yeah.
And this is why everybody needs encouragement. I went to a customer in his office in Victoria, and back then I used to, because the car didn't have AC, my girlfriend's car then didn't have AC, so I had this handkerchief, this white one, and I had a face towel. When I get to your office, I'll first wipe my face with the face towel, wipe all the sweat out of my body, and I'll spray my perfume, and I'll come to the office, because I realized that, you see, when you're sweating, it doesn't matter how much your perfume is, it doesn't matter how great it is, your sweat will almost overpower it. So I'll first wipe my sweat. I got to this guy's office. The girl that called us the day before, and she said her boss wanted to buy shirts. So we got there, and then apparently she had not even had that conversation with the guy. She just wanted, she was trying to help me. Because if I'm going to be honest, she was trying to help me. We went to school together. So we got into the guy's office. I was like, yeah, what does it do? This is not my friend. I told you make shirts. Okay. So let him make some shirts for you now. The guy wasn't in the mood to buy shirts. And then I showed him a couple of things, and I was like, I don't wear this kind of things. Like I mentioned the big brands there. I don't wear this kind of things. I wear this. And look at the shirt that you're wearing, Seth. So while we're having that conversation, somebody walked in, one of his employees, and then the guy was like, then he said that Sunday, can't forget that guy. Maybe this one can make shirt for you, because me, I don't wear this kind of. And Sunday finished me. No, I can't wear the shirt. I see the color of the shirt. I see this thing, the tenor here. Half of the things that guy was saying, he didn't know what he was talking about, but because his boss was already on a roll, he just picked up from there.
Yeah.
And when I got into the car, they didn't buy anything. When I got into the car that day, I was sad. It was very, very, very sad. Then someone called me and said, oh, bro, come and see my Oga. He wants to buy shirt. I'm like, Now they follow me. They one day, never. So I was like, nah, man, I can't come and see him today. I'll come and see him tomorrow. She was like, no, you need to come now. He's traveling to Abuja. She was very persistent. But I was already dealing with the defeat of that I just had maybe some minutes ago.
Yeah.
It was Ikoyi to VI, so drove to Ikoyi. And I was already downcasted. You know when I wasn't even throwing my best punch in that fight. So I just entered the office. But I was just like, oh yeah, the one that makes sense. Show me what you have. This one. Like I wasn't even trying to market. And the girl was just going on and on about, this guy is very great, he does this, he does that, does this. And the guy looked at me and said, okay, take my measurement. I reluctantly took his measurement. And after I did everything, he said, okay, so you will make me 15 shirts, 15 shirts and 15 trousers. I'm like, okay, I started the maths. And while I was pressing the calculator, Baba had calculated it for me already. So he now said, so how do you want the money? I was like, You say, so how do you want the money, cash or check? I was like, cash. Like in my mind, like, cash, then boy, you will. And he opened his drawer. That was the biggest thing I had at that point. He opened his drawer and he brought the money out and he put it on the table. I was like, not like this. 30 minutes ago, I was drenched in defeat. 30 minutes. And I was looking at the money on the table. I looked the guy, I quickly grabbed the first before he changed his mind. So when I held on to the money, I was like, hey, so what do you say you want again? Because everything that I was doing up until that point, it makes sense to me. When I was going, I was like, do you need a bag to put that money in? I'm like, when I got into the car, and that's one of those days when my wife is talking, when she remembers that, she laughs. When I got into the car, I was just driving. I didn't say anything. So like, how are you quiet? You didn't buy Abby? You didn't say anything. And I parked. I said, this is what Belma do. She said, what? I said, open that bag. She was like, money, where did you get the money from? Same day. An hour before, I was at the bottom of bottom. But one person just said, I come and sell clothes to my boss. And she literally pushed me, like, she dragged me. I went into that sale with the mindset, maybe I could sell 1 or 2 shares, maybe 5K or 6K. That day was like maybe 200 or something thousand. I even know what I the guy, like, because at that point, I just wanted to get out of there and he paid. And that guy was my customer till he died. Like, those things make me realize that almost the best gift you can give a human being, just encourage them. And tell them the truth as well too, because people don't tell people the truth. Tell them the truth, but encourage them. And the truth, regardless of how bitter it is, tell people the truth. This is one way they do. I don't think so if you walk, but that's me thinking, say, if you walk, if you make her walk, but encourage them. It's very important. Very, very important.
We're going to be giving you all the encouragement as much encouragement as we can.
No, but that's what this is about anyway. That's what this is about.
So encourage yourself. No, encourage yourself. Encourage somebody around you to be the best version of themselves. No matter how little, it goes a long way in helping them, keep on striving, keep on chugging, and keep on growing. Thank you for making it to the end of this episode of the Takeawayz podcast. It was amazing fun creating it with Oluwafemi, and I hope you enjoyed listening to it just as much as we enjoyed creating it for you. Be sure to follow our journey on social media at Takeawayz podcast. And if you haven't listened to other episode of the podcast, please check it out. We have something amazing queued up for you next week, and we cannot wait to share with you as well.